Hey, what's up, nerdies, and welcome to a Nerdy Bunch weekly review for Invincible Season 3. My name's Dave, and joining me because I forcibly took him away from his Valentine's date, my co-host Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, David?
Sorry, there's some things more important than Valentine's. You see your wife every day, so it's okay. She'll understand.
For those who are just listening, I'm holding a rose right now.
I know for a fact she listens to and likes this podcast, so
That is correct.
it's okay.
And comments. So please comment if you're listening to this.
She does comment. We're here to talk episode 4. You Were My Hero. Two strangers ask Mark for help with a mysterious villain. Elsewhere in the galaxy, Nolan grapples with his identity and Alan finds a surprising new ally. Andrew, this episode does a good job of giving us two stories split. And I like how it's split because you think the first one ends, it's like, oh, the episode's finished already. What the hell?
That's what happened to us. Same thing. Like, how do they end? Oh, never mind. It's like X-Men 97 all over again.
What did you think of this episode? No spoilers.
No spoilers. Similar to X-Men 97. I liked it. I feel like they used the time well to cover two stories. And while pushing the general story forward, there was some solid action, some solid moral compass decisions as usual. I feel like they dropped a lot of information. I watched it back a little bit and I watched some reviews, and there were a lot of things that they actually mentioned that, as a non-comic book reader, sorry y'all, I've seen that if I was a comic book reader, I'd be like, So that aside, because that's not what this review is about, this is one show that actually keeps up its own high levels, right? Its own high standards. It continues to match for me. And I thought this was, I won't say the best episode of the season, but definitely up there. Like a lot happened, and by the end, I'm like, whoa, okay. It's deep ramifications, and the ending. I'm excited for the future. I was like a kid at the end, like, yes.
This show does a great job. And I'm coming with a caveat for those listening and watching. I have read the comics, so I'm trying my best to not kind of let you know what's coming forward. I'm rereading it right now alongside after the episode.
Yeah.
And they do a good job of sticking very close, I mentioned last week, to the comics, but tweaking things here and there. You mentioned about giving us lots of information. What it does is it gives you information that makes you ask so many questions because it's just almost vague. Like it just puts it out there. There's a character that says things and like,
in passing.
What? Wait, rewind.
Rewind.
You just
Get to that.
say that. And even for someone who's read the comics, that gets me excited. Like, ooh. I've seen it in still images, but to see these things, these moments in action, I'm excited to see it. And whenever they kind of have those episodes where it's almost like a side episode or a side story, some shows, even if they're good shows, they run the risk of derailing the pacing, the momentum of the story, right? But I think this does a good job that even though we have a side story, that side story informs a lot of what's happening or going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
It's not filler.
No, it's not random, it's not filler. It's not one of those where you could have put it at any point in the season. No, it makes sense here. It makes sense why it's happening, and it informs not just the story of the characters going forward, but even by the end of it, the emotional state of the characters. And I think it's a really good way to kind of, like you said, keep the ball rolling. You know, only episode 4, but we've gotten so much already, right? And I love it. All right, let's go into spoilers. The two main storylines: you have the time travel story, and we have the escape story. Which one would you like to tackle first?
Let's go time travel, I guess.
Okay, just like I did with you.
I wish
Mark and Eva having a date, and they're whisked away. We saw from previously Dropkick and Fight Master, who's, if you remember, stole the
Declaration of Independence.
Declaration of Independence, which Mark thinks belongs in New York for some reason. Go to school, Mark. So school.
Yeah, it obviously belongs with Nicolas Cage. Ugh.
Duh.
If you haven't seen that movie, you're too young.
Gosh, I liked when they asked him for help, and he's like, no, and then he gives this like impassioned speech about like, I thought you were the one. He's like, no.
Like I thought that would work. I really thought that would work. And then they just kidnap him against his consent. I'm just gonna say,
which is different in the comics. In the comics, he does agree to go reluctantly, but he does agree. But this kind of works out better. I kind of like, though, I feel like that was a risk by them, because if you caught Mark on an angry day,
that's what I was thinking. Like, imagine he just like ripped their heads off right there.
I said, take back.
Yeah, rips off his brother's arm. That'd be sad. Oh, I wish. Oh my gosh, can you? I wish you could edit me coming to pick up my own clothes right
Can
now
I tell you? I thought
from the
about that.
future.
I thought about that, and I was like, "Ugh, you know what? Yeah, we could do it. You have to do
Yeah,
some stuff.
that'd be so funny. That sounds so wrong. What some stuff? What am I agreeing to? Oh my
Just
goodness.
pretend, listeners, imagine it happened. No, listeners, it did happen, and
Yeah.
viewers, imagine it
Imagine
happened.
that, exactly. It happened right now because that scene was so funny. I'm like,
I did
I,
like that. I
I
did.
literally was like, what is happening at the end of the episode? Like,
He's like, "Wait, why am I so sad?" Like, "Damn, that's why he's sad." I liked when
uh,
they met the robots at the beginning, and he's like, "Wait, are these sentient robots?" I mean, that's a good question to ask if you're far in the future.
I like that. That was very thoughtful and mindful, right? Of Mark. He didn't just start killing things that could have bodies or sentience.
And that's the thing. Let's go to that, right? I think for me, that's the crux of this narrative. In a nutshell, this whole narrative, we find out that some king has been ruling Earth for centuries.
Okay.
Of course, I'm sure you thought it was Nolan or future Mark.
I thought it was future Mark 100%. Yeah.
I remember reading that in the comics is literally the same thing. The
Yeah.
setup was making you like it's
Like
a
future
Viltrumite.
Mark
What are
first.
Viltrumites?
Yeah, and then of course immortal, you're like, that also makes sense. Duh.
Duh.
He's immortal.
Duh.
Didn't see it coming about that. You're right. They definitely had me.
And what I like about this story, Immortal begging Mark to kill him. And we talk about just connecting to what I just said about the sentient being and Mark understanding why he's so sad. And even at the end of this story, when they're thanking him for killing Immortal, he's just like, don't thank me. Compared to what Mark was telling Oliver last week about like, we don't kill. I feel like this is a great example of showing that Mark means that. He doesn't
Mhm,
like to kill.
mhm.
What did you think about Mark kind of going through that emotional hurdle of, I don't want to kill Immortal. I've killed Immortal and I'm being thanked for that?
Yeah, that's funny, and you're right, especially when it's juxtaposed
Mhm.
to Oliver's recent m- murder and like revel in the blood, whereas Mark is like, "You made me do it."
I was watching the last week's episodes again, and there's moments where you're like, "Damn, Oliver, you kind of feel bad for him, he's a cute little kid." But then
It's
Mark says
psycho.
something to his mom. It's not that he killed the people; he said he doesn't feel bad for it.
That's the worst one because even kids feel things, right? Like
Mhm.
he didn't even say like gross blood.
Right.
It was just all like, yeah. But it's not about you, Oliver. It's about Mark. So, I think we feel for Mark. I think end of last season, him having to. It's like every time we see him being like pushed to the brink to kill, and it's just like, and with each one, I assume he's just gonna get a little less annoying to him, and then like the question is, does he? Again, I don't read the comics, but all I'm wondering is when is the tipping point, right? Like I don't know. I feel like I'm going to start to see him go towards the dark side. I would love that if he had a little Anakin in him, just a little bit, just a little Darth Vader, not too much though. I don't want him to go full evil, but just you love to see the fact that he really is trying his best to not kill. And because again, in my research, I too found out that that was slightly different in the comics, right? Because Immortal didn't attack the twins,
Mhm.
right? Um, he Mark killed him because Marcus wanted him to stop talking about the future. I think, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. So I find that interesting as a change, but also like I think it makes sense because you could see similar to Omni Man not jumping. It's like when somebody else got attacked, both Omni Man and Mark this episode came
Mm,
alive. But
mm.
we'll keep Omni Man to the
Nice
side for now.
observation.
Thank you.
No, again, I think it highlights kind of Mark's need because for him with his strength, killing is so easy. Like
Yeah,
it's not even a
you saw it. It wasn't
you
even
know?
like it wasn't even like a close fight. Like, okay, fine, let's fight for real.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like, oh, stop it, bro.
Right. It's so
Yanks
easy, and
his head
that's
off.
but he sees the value of life, and again, it goes
Mhm,
back to his human mother raising him,
mhm.
right? He sees that value in life as much as he's a strong fighter, and as much as sometimes he may kind of become a prisoner to his anger. I think there's moments where afterwards when he really sits and thinks, and I think that can be the difference, right, between someone who's evil and not,
Mhm.
is that regret of actions
The reflection
and
after,
the reflection afterwards and thinking
i.e.
about,
Oliver. Side
right?
eye.
Like I really felt for it. Even asking Eve, am I a good person? Questioning whether he's a good person or
It's
not.
so funny for Eve because imagine your boyfriend leaves Chipper, and he comes back
2 seconds
in
later, by the way,
a
from her
split
perspective.
second. And I love that. I love time things that keep that continuity.
Mhm.
Even though, and it's whatever. Like they said, don't ask many questions about time.
No, I
You're
liked when she said "Well, it was a time travel. Can't you just come before we went on our date
yeah,
or afterwards?"
and they're like, sorry, we used that last charge. Like,
Oops.
Of course you did.
But yeah, let's go back to Immortal like you said, he
Mhm.
says a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read out some of the things he says,
Said you're
and
not
you can
sick.
kind of tell me what you think it might be alluding to. He says, "It's been so many years since you left with your family. I wasn't
Yes.
sure I'd recognize you.
As
You
you,
look
yeah.
thin. Have you been
Yes.
sick again? I thought they
Yes.
found a cure."
Yeah.
Where did your brain go when you hear those words?
Um.
What family? Who?
Yeah.
Because this
Well, it's a,
how long ago did he leave? Because it's been centuries, but did he leave like century 1, century 2? Mark was king of the
it's a,
world.
yeah.
What?
And you're like, so much. I was more on the sick. I was like, oh my gosh, are they poisoning them?
Ah,
Because it's all tied in with this thing Nolan said at the end. This bomb drop. It's
it's
like
only
I'm
less than
assuming
50.
I'm assuming they've been poisoning these dudes, these Viltrumites somewhere, or there is some sort of. Cause that's what always happens. The mutant killer. The even in the boys, they're always trying to find the serum that kills soups. So I'm assuming that's what happened. But yeah, the family one was interesting because yeah, family too. Is it Eve? Can be Eve because
The redhead,
Eve
he
died.
says.
Like yeah, but
But it doesn't say Eve.
it's,
It could be other. Again,
I
time
feel
is
like
a.
time is a construct.
You're right.
But
And,
Eve is
and
not a Viltrumite. Eve, as far as I
no,
know, does not live forever. So that wouldn't make sense.
it can't be mom. She's human.
Unless he bit Eve and now she's a vampire Viltrumite. That's it. Got it. So that's yeah. I feel like I was very intentional on them. I was mostly curious about the sickness. And even
But then
the
he
I
also
would.
says,
I'm surprised I didn't think I'd recognize you. It's like sorry what?
but he also says, you look thin and weak. How
Yeah.
big is Mark? Later,
Right.
it's the future
To
because this is him
be
normal.
fair, yeah. For him to say thin, not even like oh you look
And
it's
weak,
like visibly so. So I'm expecting like in a Mark on steroids would be like Omni Man plus.
right? Because again, we just saw a couple weeks ago, Mark's been doing extra training. So right now, this is Mark at his strongest.
Technically,
So
right?
to be like, you look weak,
That's actually funny. I didn't really deep that. It's like
right?
at the peak of his current self, it's like, oh, what happened to you, man? He's like, excuse me.
I like the reminder of why he's called immortal because he is immortal. When Mark is like, "Oh, what about Kate?" It's like, "Who? You were about to get
It's the
married?"
fact that you didn't even remember like
I've married so many women,
100 women since, bruh. Come
right?
on.
I've outlived everyone I've ever loved. And again, I like that reminder. It's almost like a warning for Mark. Because Mark as well, like
Mm-hmm.
even Nolan had told him, you outlive everyone you've loved. So you can do all of this
Mm-hmm.
ultimately from your point of view for what?
Right, for nothing, but
you know, you left. They said, why did Mark leave? You made me a monster. How
yeah.
many more must die because of your mistake?
I
That's
was also
crazy when you
like,
think,
well, wait, how are you gonna blame him for that now? Like, bro, you could have come on, retire, fam.
well, I mean,
Why
I
didn't
mean,
you become a psycho killer? Mm-mm.
he's the type, and it's crazy when you think about it. He says he pretty much started killing everyone, doing all this stuff to get Mark's attention
Yeah, it's like, sorry.
for centuries.
What in the Thanos are you doing?
And where is Mark?
Like,
This happens for centuries, and
yeah.
you don't even come back to Earth. You're home.
Which
And
I guess the other interesting thing, fine, no Mark has gone back is yeah. Sorry, where is Future Mark? Sorry, is he? Did he die? Is he out there
you know what I'm
somewhere
saying?
actually sick? Like what's up?
Kind of those are the questions, but I do like that. And again, this way you get story connectivity. Previous episode, for her to accept that her and Mark should date, Eve had to accept that future Eve is not her.
Mm-hmm.
Her disease is not her. So she said same thing to Mark. Future
Mark,
Mark
yeah,
is not you, right? It
I
doesn't have
like
to be
that.
you. Though present Mark still killed future immortal. So he still has to feel the pain of that. Though I kind of give him a caveat. I was like, you killed him because you can kind of put his head together again and he'll be back. So he's not really.
This is in
Is it killing?
SM33 or whatever
Because
his name is.
Nolan killed him before.
Oh wait, but you're actually right. Sorry,
Yeah,
you are
I'm
all
not just
right.
making it up.
He is SM33.
He can be immortal. That's why he says keep the head and the body separate because that's how you can come back together. So it's like, I feel like there's a bit of leeway there in what killing means.
Just like you know, it's like you parked him.
Yeah.
Like,
You put him in a coma.
you just turned him off, and he was asking for it too. It's literally like you did him a favor. Not
Asking, he
even
was
joking.
begging for it.
Literally,
And like was like, just throw yourself into the sun.
he was like, "No, let's go to Valhalla."
He's like, no.
A Viking would die with sword in
Suicide
hand.
is the coward's way
Yeah,
out.
literally. Like how dare you? I
There
would be,
technically isn't a suicide, forcing Mark to kill you. I feel like that's a form of suicide. I don't know.
but
It's a technicality.
yeah, exactly. It's like I didn't kill myself. What do you mean? Like, no, me? No, no, somebody else did. Like, watch the replay. Do you have replays here in the afterlife? Can I just see that again?
All right. Let's go into the other storyline. Alan and Nolan's escape. I love how we cut
Oh,
away
then my favorite.
from Eve and Mark's sexy time. The narrator comes in, like, oh, let's move
I
away from
love
that.
on that though. I like Eve's little move, removing the clothes with
Oh
her
yeah,
powers. Like, okay, girl,
convenient.
yeah,
I like it.
convenient and neat. Ah.
Um, we go to Alan, and who's trying to continue convincing Omni-Man to escape. And Omni-Man's finally, his executioners arrive and they start beating on him. And Alan, with the help of Battle Beast, who just wants to fight. What did you think of the whole escape sequence?
I love Battle Beast. First of all, just hilarious seeing the other prisoners get murked.
I know. I was like,
Because it
are
makes
you just there to
sense.
be like
Yes.
cannon fodder?
But I like that though, because I hate when she was making it seem like, oh, all the prisoners are out. Yeah, you know, now we'll
Yay.
take over the prison. Like,
Revolution.
no, I mean, sure, some of you are, but most of you are not bulletproof. Let's be real here. And then Alan be like, oh,
Oops.
and Alan's so funny. And Battle Beast. I remember was this season 1? His
Yeah.
little cameo.
Almost killed Mark.
Yeah, right. So it was nice to see him like, hey, we know you, and his everything up to the end of his fight, like when the executioner number 2 was floating away, and he just hooked his claws in him, like, nope, we're
Like,
going
can Battle
together.
Beast, can he breathe in space? Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess we'll figure it out. I need because they gave us like 5 seconds just watching. I'm like I was actually holding my breath for him. Like you better don't you dare come and die out here. Okay, good. He's breathing.
No,
He's
but
breathing.
if he died, he's happy. He's just like, if I die, it'd be
Mhm.
glorious. So he wants to die in battle.
Oh, I love him.
Which again is it's I don't think it's a coincidence that you have Immortal who regrets living for so long, right? A
Yeah.
warrior himself. Warriors want to die in battle.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a coincidence we see that. I did like when Battle Beast meets them, he's like, yes, some Dodgemites. And Mark is like, I mean no, Alan's like, oh, he's a big fan. He's been looking forward to this.
Alan's the best.
He is so great. He's like, I liked when they're trying to find ways to kill him and they keep killing their own.
Yeah. It's like just ricocheting off him.
What I like about Alan is that, we know he's gotten stronger and everything like that. But I love in shows and movies where they think about these power scalings. Yes, you're invulnerable. Yes, you're super strong, but bullets still hurt,
Mhm.
right? It's like us getting like needle shots. That
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Even if it's tiny, like, yeah, it's not going to kill you if I continuously stab you with a needle, but trust me,
Right.
you'll feel it and you will not be
Right.
happy.
I'm not just standing there, my chest out, taking all the
Yeah.
hits. It's like, ow, ow,
Yeah.
get off me. Like I still want to get away from it.
Like I'm
And
not
I kind of
Superman.
like I'm not a fan when it's just like it just bounces off my chest.
Yeah.
I don't feel anything.
I see you, Superman.
Exactly. Nolan finally gives it like he alluded. Alan does a fake out. I got faked out.
Me too, actually. I thought he was. I
was
thought
like,
he was
damn.
getting whooped, which was
I
funny.
thought he
I
was
was like,
stronger
damn.
than
I
that.
was like, bro. After all that, I mean, all right. I guess the Ultimates were pretty strong,
Right?
and
That was a nice fake out. This is like, oh yeah, no, it didn't do much to me. I like that fake out because we see that Nolan does actually care.
he cares. He does
He
care.
cares.
He does care.
And it shows you more and more that he was willing to take his execution because that's how he was punishing himself. That was his self.
Yeah, whipping himself on the back.
Exactly, his penance.
His retribution. Yes,
Right. Right. Kind of like
you
I
failed
can't do
this
anything. I can't.
city.
And I like when he says to Ellen, "Why would you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, why would you risk your life to save me? No Viltrumite would ever do that." Well, you did just
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I love that. Literally just now, you did. And I like Alan being this person. As much as he's strong and tough and invulnerable, he's this person that's kind of reaching at the heart of Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd never have thought it would be Alan.
Yeah, fair
Of all
enough.
the
Of all
people,
the people,
Alan the alien's going to be the one
showing
that's like,
Nolan his human side.
right. Was your betrayal worth it? Worth death? Yes, and I'm sad you'll never understand.
Hmm.
That line, chef's kiss.
It's like, damn.
Because for someone who was once just full on drank the Kool-Aid, to say that I'm sad you will never understand is such a profound
Mhm.
statement. I love that. I thought it was actually brilliant. And I'm curious to see, again, talking as if I haven't read the comics. I'm curious to see, or what do you think it's going to be like when the eventual return of Nolan to his family? How's that going to go?
Wait, first of all, where's Oliver's mom? She alive? She's
She's dead.
alive, right?
No, no, she's dead.
Okay, yeah, she died, right?
They
Okay.
live like something like 24
So
hours,
just
something
making
crazy,
sure.
short
Yeah,
like that.
just making sure. He's definitely coming back home for sure. Well, I feel bad for his wife, if anything. Like she's just like she doesn't deserve this.
The emotional
He called her a
roller
pet.
coaster.
He actually called
This
her a
is true.
pet.
But now he's like, I think I miss my wife.
He's about to come home like, hey, I'm changed. And she's
So
like, I've been taking care of your bastard son with another woman. You called me a pet. You're literally on the FBI's most wanted list.
and
Just,
I have a new boyfriend, thank you very much. And he
yes.
likes me.
Yeah. He really likes me. And he's a really good guy. Oh, it's just going to be so complicated. And I think what I'm most interested in is seeing, I want Omni Man back because I want Omni Man and Oliver to interact.
And
I don't know.
Oliver was like, yes, dad, we should kill them all. And I was
Yeah,
like,
and
oh,
I feel like Omni Man too would be like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. Oliver would be like, "Yeah, you're a
we
punk
don't do
too.
that around here.
Yeah, exactly. R.I.P. Chadwick. That's what's gonna happen. But I don't know. This is also or whenever I see what was I watching the other day where oh, it was this. What am I saying? It was remember, yeah, the first. It was the other episode of this when they all gathered together in the beginning, right? And Ray came back, and Rex and they're all there. I was like, oh, shit's about to go hit the ceiling. Because same thing, if Omni Man is back and we have Omni Man Mark Oliver all around, that's scary because
Mm.
it means that you're gonna have an existential level threat that's going to need them all in one place. And Alan, yeah, it's gonna be a lot. But from what I assume is the story and I know a little bit because of Reddit and in the internet. There's gonna be a lot more not a lot more, a lot of Viltrumites that have to be fought. So I think we do need all the hands we can get, but I'm just very curious about all the in between. I would love a little Nolan and Alan buddy cop flying through space. Like please don't rush back is my point. I don't need them back by next episode. We can do a little 4 or 5 episode flying through space. I would like that if possible.
Well, we do know that one of the reasons Alan was trying to get Nolan's because he's trying to recruit them, right? The resistance. And I'm sure because they're trying to get as many strong people as they can, I'm sure Battle Beast will be part of that. He wants to kill more
Did they find him
Viltrumites.
though? Did they actually? They were like, where is?
Where is he? Where
Where
is he?
is
I
none
feel
of
like they think, you don't, if you're going to kill Battle Beast, you show him dead,
Yeah,
right?
no, I don't think he's dead. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure that Alan and Nolan. I don't know. I'm just like, did they find him in this iteration? Is it one of those like we run into him again later?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I don't. That's the thing about space. Not that I know, but don't know that it's not like oh he's there. Just fly there. It's like
yeah.
spatial awareness is a little bit different. So I know he's definitely alive. I know he's alive also because I don't know. I read these spoilers. I know how he dies in the comics, and I'm assuming that's going to happen.
You're a masochist. That's
Yeah, I
why.
kind of. I'm just like whatever. So, I'm pretty sure he's alive just based on that fact. And you're right, that kind of person dies on screen from what I've seen. Also,
And like I said, they're putting a team together, for a reason. And I'm sure we're going to see this team come together that's going to help take out the Viltrumite army of less than 50. Though, even though it's
so
less than 50, that's still a lot of Viltrumites to take on
yeah,
head on, right? You better make sure.
if one is level of battle beast essentially,
Yeah.
and, or plus depending. So, yeah, it's interesting, but we're definitely seeing the Avengers gathering back together. Wink,
And
wink.
then, they speak of full-blooded Viltrumites. That doesn't mean that they don't have half-bloods like Mark on their side,
True.
right? We've seen in previous episodes in alternate dimensions, Mark is honestly evil.
Yeah.
Right, so it's what if the Viltrumites have other half bloods who are on their side? Because Mark's pretty strong for a half blood, right? Doesn't necessarily
Oh,
mean you're
and
you're
even since I
less.
don't know the future, like, okay, what if they're like, okay, guys, there are only 20 of us now, go procreate. Like, all
Right.
right,
Exactly. Yeah.
we're changing the rules because if I was one of them and we got to a certain number, I'd be like, yeah, look, y'all, it's about time
We're not
we
going to
start
say
to
anything.
find.
It's just not.
I mean, I doubt since they're so like write the book, never
Mm.
ever would I ever. But there's a point where you get to where it's like fight or flight. And yeah,
um,
they're gonna fight.
some moments that were small moments, but still important to the story. I like the opening with Rex and Ray just trying to have a normal day.
Her trying to cook.
She she'll figure it out. YouTube's a lot of help.
She's
Um,
not wrong. She's not wrong.
but what I like again, this little narrative, she explains how she had a very strict diet growing up. Can't figure out why she had to be on a diet, even though she can
So like
shrink.
yeah, like so funny when they watch your
Right.
weight even when you're having power shrink.
But and then she just wants any just a normal life. And Rex is just like, oh no, I've just been using robot's credit card this whole time to
Yeah,
get pizza.
so funny.
But I like those subtle moments to kind of remind us the fact that these people don't have the normal things that we kind of either take for granted or we kind of like, ugh, I don't want to do that. They look forward to. They want to do. They want to have this sense of
Mhm,
normalcy,
mhm.
right? It just with all the craziness going on, but even then, it doesn't work
They can
because
Rex was so happy though.
I know,
It's so funny.
like, oh, we're getting pizza, fine.
And
And
and then they walked back into their lair, and I was like,
yeah,
Are we like too weird sometimes?" Like, and
I
everybody
love
was
that.
like, "Sorry, what?" She's like, "It's never mind."
Also, Mark needs help to find out who's been spying on him, as we saw last week. Of course, he thinks it's Cecil. I mean, most people are going to think it's Cecil. I almost wish they didn't show us, the audience, who it was
Yeah, so that
last
we
week.
too would have been like, obviously Cecil.
Obviously, it's Cecil.
Yeah,
Though I like Cecil's like um what's his name? Cecil's right hand man.
like
Donald is like, but we are spying on them, sir.
Coulson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we are spying
literally,
on them. He's like,
like,
yeah, but
yeah,
not that one.
not with this. Like, and
Like,
even
what?
Cecil was great too. And it's like, well, that was a terrifying way to start my morning. Like, and I like that he doesn't underplay the fact that, like, as much as I don't agree with Cecil, I also get it because similar to how Batman has contingencies, it's like, dude, that is freaking scary to have this dude who could, to say rip off your head is an understatement because he ripped off Immortal's head, right? He could wipe out, like, technically the planet if he just decided he woke up on the wrong side of bed. So
But
I
my
really
my
felt that line.
my question to you though is the fact that he admits they've been spying on him and the family means you're completely ignoring the conversations that the family's having about the moral dilemma, right? Because you're witnessing all these stuff. You're witnessing his moral dilemma. He's witnessing all these things. So, but you still tell yourself, nah, this is someone that's going to kill me the first chance he gets. And I find that aspect of the story interesting because it
Yeah,
tells you how much Cecil has kind of made his mind up,
yeah.
right?
It's like the
It
skeptic is not going to change their mind.
I look at it no there. I was telling my brother the other day, I was like, because my brother was kind of one of those people like, I
Right?
agree with Cecil. I agree with Cecil.
Your brother crazy.
I was like, would you have agreed to mutant collars?
I bet he'd have worked for Trask.
Oh, got him. Got him. Um, any moments that we haven't talked about that you liked?
Some little ones. I found it so funny when Robot would talk as human and finish as robot. And these guys, like, she's like, don't.
But having to constantly remind him, like,
Yeah,
what did I just say?
to say. It's so funny because I totally would do that too. It's so cool.
I know, right? I thought it was really cool, that kind of continuation. He says, but this
Yeah.
is what I do. Like, I'm trying. I like that um Dropkick and Fight Master were not just comic relief idiots. Like
Yeah.
they could hold their own. They're kind of
Yeah.
tough. They're like, we
Yeah.
got this, don't worry.
Yeah.
And they did got this.
Wasn't it giving I think it's all speaking like Gen Z giving. Wasn't it didn't it allude to memories of Days of Future Past X-Men? Like that's like it gave me those
True,
vibes.
true,
I'm
true,
just
true.
like,
Yes,
I mean
yes.
it happens a lot, but just in the future, the Republic, or they call it, the Revolution, is fighting against the
Hmm.
machine, and it's just, yeah, I definitely felt that vibe. Um, Another thing
Mark
I
tells,
liked
go.
was your boy Rex. There's like all the cow type stuff. So like, you mean dairy? It's like, yeah, yeah, whatever you want to call it. Like,
I got that. Like he's looking at the list and he's only going to grab one thing on the list.
like
Okay, fine. I'll
cheese,
grab this other
cheese.
thing. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
All the cow type stuff.
Oh my goodness.
I like seeing Mark and Eve dating because it makes sense. It's rare that you see in these superhero storylines where two people with powers are dating,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they don't have the limitations we normally have.
Exactly. Like they
You
can
know,
actually fly together to the pyramids and.
he doesn't have to worry about carrying her and making sure she doesn't get
Mhm.
hurt when
Mhm.
she's flying. She can fly herself.
Yeah.
And then even the things like she understands when their date is interrupted. He doesn't have to
Yeah.
make up some excuse like son Peter Parker and be like, "Oh yeah, he wants me to help change the name of the company."
It's like what?
He doesn't come up with something
Uh,
stupid.
uh,
And I love seeing that. And I love that montage. We in the
mhm.
montage we even get flashbacks of, in their past in high school and things like that, show this love story. And he says, "I love you."
So cute.
And she's like, "I
So
love you too."
cute. So adorable.
See where it goes. Is
Um,
she the redhead of his future? We shall
no.
find out. We shall find
I
out.
found it funny that they, if I heard correctly, because they took the Declaration of Independence because they thought it had the secret to poison to kill immortal.
Well, no, the ink from
Y-
the ink that was used to sign
Oh,
apparently was
even
able to
even
kill.
worse, even
Well,
worse and
because
better. That's
because
hilarious.
it's alluded that Immortal was one of
One of them,
America's former presidents.
yeah.
Uh, what was it? It was Abraham
Abraham,
Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
saw that. I
but
was
then
like,
I
whatever.
can understand again. You are centuries in the future, millennia, and yeah, of course, some kind of random things on the card like, oh yeah, maybe the ink of this. You've tried everything.
Yeah, like listen, just do something, man. I don't know.
This guy's already immortal, so why wouldn't he have some crazy weakness? You
Yeah.
know, on paper, if you don't know the context, oh, this green rock is Superman's weakness. That sounds ridiculous.
Right. Like what? That's so stupid.
Or we go to Green Lantern, the color yellow.
Yeah. And he's like, no, no, anything but that. Just literally throw a train at me, a planet, but not yellow. But yeah, I like power scaling like that.
Oh no.
Um, the I mean, Alan, just the little lines to Battle Beast. There's a party going on outside. Do you want to bring the punch? And Battle Beast being like, hmm, go
I
on,
like when Batterby's like, "You lied to me. The only formidable foe I see around here is you."
you.
He's like, wait,
We're
wait.
like, no, 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 don't. Um,
And I did like the moment because I was thinking about it when he's telling Battleby. He's like, "Yes, you want to kill some Viltrumites? Yes, there's a couple over there." I was
it's
like,
like,
"What about Nolan?"
nah,
And I like when he's just like, "Oh, one of them's
that's it.
my guy, but two of
Yeah.
them have that."
Even that conversation, if you remember, because Battle Beast was like, are there Viltrumites? It's like, yeah, so like, how many? And Alan was like, this is getting very specific. It's like, yeah, like, what? Okay. I mean,
Man,
exactly who we need right now. Great.
I loved when Nolan is kind of going through his like melodrama of self pity, and then Anna's like, "Oh God, not this again."
Yeah. It's like, because fair enough, he's been here for a while. Like, he's probably actually tired of it for real. For real, for
He's
real.
like, he's like, "Oh God, why didn't they use a bigger laser?" I thought that was great.
Um,
I
and
think
of
that's anything
course,
else.
I mean, I guess we can actually touch on the final 1-2 punch. I mean,
Oh yes,
it was really
I'd high five you, but
especially yeah, right. Oh, but
that was great. That was
it
that
just
was,
happened so quick, especially
right.
because we obviously realized like the split second before. I'm like, don't you? Oh, they did it. They
I was like,
like, oh,
oof. Well, that's the way to go.
yeah,
That is the
that's
way to go. That was great. That was a
that's
great
the way.
moment. I thought.
So I'm
Anything
literally
else?
screaming, Omni Man is back.
I liked
Woo!
when he throws one of the guards' head through the hole.
Even that poor guard whose head went out and he turned to ice and then he died. Just like, sorry, bro.
Ouch.
A lot of them
Uh,
die in terrible ways, anyways. But
all
yeah,
right.
solid episode. I think it had a lot of good. Yeah, there was so much happening. There wasn't really any time for a nitpick or bad thing per se. And I'm scared now that Omni Man and Alan are free. It's like, okay, things are about to get worse for sure. For sure.
And you still have Armstrong Levi, who's
We're
plotting,
just sitting there watching.
right? That's I always like that way. It's like you have the main plot, but then you have some undercooking
Yeah, like
plot that's bubbling over. You know. What do you nerdies think of episode 4? What do you think of the season so far? I believe this takes us halfway through. 'Cause if I think it's 8
Already?
episodes for the
That's
season.
crazy.
Yes. So we are halfway through. What do you think? Find us on social media at the Nerdy Bunch. You can also email us with some of the recommendations for shows and movies you'd like us to check out. Find us
Yes.
the Nerdy Bunch pod at gmail.com. And check out some of our other podcasts. We are currently doing Severance season 2. We're also
Ooh,
doing Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Check out
yes.
our friends over at Nerdy Sports, Tim and Scotty, as they talk all things sports. And watch out for some movie reviews coming over in the next few weeks. Anyway, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name is English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch weekly review for Invincible Season 3, Episode 4. And as always, Andrew,
Keep it nerdy.
peace.